Have you encountered individuals who take advantage of your vulnerabilities, pushing you to do things you knew were wrong? Have you ever found yourself torn between seeking approval from the wrong crowd and standing up for what's right? These questions are the heart of a tale that will leave you with invaluable lessons about resilience, empathy, and the importance of true friendships. If you've ever felt trapped, mocked, or pressured to conform, prepare to be inspired. Stay with us till the end, and you'll have the keys to unlock a brighter, more fulfilling life. Now, on to our story. Once upon a time, there was a little donkey that strolled carefree through the countryside, observing the clouds, the leaves of the trees, and the birds that flew above him. He was so distracted by everything above his long ears that one day he didn't notice what was hidden under his hooves, and so he fell into a well. Fortunately, the well's opening wasn't deep enough to hurt him, but it was narrow enough to prevent him from getting out. No matter how hard he tried to climb, all he could do was exhaust himself in the attempt to get out. Desperate, he began to bray and cry in sadness. He was about to lose hope when he saw someone peering into the hole where he was trapped. It was a shaggy-haired, dirty boy with a dazzling smile on his face. After seeing the trapped donkey, the boy ran away. The donkey felt a bit relieved, thinking that the friendly boy had gone to seek help. But in reality, the boy went to find other friends to laugh at him. The donkey made a big mistake, thinking that Smile was kind when it was actually malicious. Everyone knew the mysterious boy. He was the most mischievous in the village, and was always looking for some new wickedness to commit. At 5, he was already a real rascal, and that day he had gathered his friends to help him play a cruel prank on the trapped donkey. "What a stupid donkey! Look at him, he can't get out of the hole he fell into," Eleuterio said to his friends, throwing a handful of dirt in the donkey's face. "I have an idea. Let's grab my dad's shovels and bury this dumb mophead." The friends looked at each other. None of them agreed to do such a thing, but in the end they went to find shovels and any tool that could be used to fill the well with dirt. They returned and were about to start, but one of them, Demetrio, spoke with a trembling voice. "I don't want to do this. Better for me to go home." And Eleuterio mocked him, shouting in his face, "You're a chicken," making chicken noises and urging the others to make fun of him. The boy's cheeks reddened as if sunburned from shame. He couldn't stand being called a coward, so he snatched the shovel from another friend, and the first to start throwing dirt was him, Demetrio. Some boys did it just for fear of becoming the target of the others' ridicule. They did their best to throw as little dirt as possible, hoping that the others would regret it and stop sooner or later. However, there were some like Eleuterio who, in addition to throwing mud, rocks, and dust to bury the donkey, insulted and mocked him. However, there were some like Eleuterio who didn't just hurl mud, stones, and dust in an attempt to bury the donkey. They taunted and mocked the creature, shouting things like, "Take that, you dumb mule. This will teach you where to tread, shaggy beast." Amidst this, the donkey paced back and forth in the pit, doing its best to shield its eyes from the onslaught of dirt. But the boys were relentless, flinging more and more earth, not just to demean him, but to injure him. The pit was gradually filling up. Still, the determined animal refused to be buried. Each time the soil rose by a centimeter, the donkey stepped on it, using it as a small stair. The children were too engrossed in their cruel game to notice that the donkey was turning their malicious actions into a means to approach the surface. After some maneuvering in the pit, and careful placement of his hooves to avoid being entirely buried by the dirt and debris, the donkey managed to get close enough to the surface. With a mighty leap, he broke free from his confines, leaving the children in shock. Their astonishment quickly morphed into terror when the outraged donkey began chasing them across the meadow. Eleuterio, the heartless boy, returned home with a big hole in his pants. This story offers us 3 important messages. The first lesson is about resilience. In life, sooner or later, each of us will face problems and feel trapped. Often there will be people ready to criticize and take advantage of us when we are at our lowest. They will try to humiliate us and make us lose hope. We have 2 options. We can stand still and feel victimized, waiting for them to bury our self-esteem with their criticisms. Or we can learn from the story and use those criticisms as steps to get out of the situation. Think about whether someone has ever treated you this way, and how you might react to show that you will never let yourself be buried by anyone again. The second lesson concerns the dirty boy. This character teaches us two lessons. First, it reminds us that harming others, especially taking advantage of their weakness, will eventually come back to hurt us. What we inflict on others will return to hit us like an enraged donkey. Therefore, think twice before taking advantage of someone. Secondly, a happy person doesn't act like the dirty boy. This message is subtle and hard to spot in the story. But the neglected boy is clearly an unhappy individual seeking revenge on the world. The next time you meet someone like this, try to empathize. The third lesson is provided by Demetrio. Often, we find ourselves in situations where friends encourage or invite us to do things we know are wrong and we don't want to do. We do it just to try to impress them, to avoid being mocked. However, what they say to intimidate and manipulate us is false. It's not a sign of intelligence or courage to give in to doing something we know is wrong. It would have been much smarter and braver for Demetrio to tell his friend not to involve him in his nonsense. It's also essential to understand that if you try to please people who push you to do wrong things, they will eventually harm you. These people are not real friends, and it's better not to deal with them. Don't worry about losing such friendships because they aren't real friends. True friends are those who seek your well-being and help you become a better person. So don't give importance to the opinions of these people. The third lesson is provided by Demetrio, and it brings us face to face with a common predicament many of us have encountered throughout our lives. It's a situation where the allure of fitting in or gaining the approval of friends can lead us down a path we instinctively know is ethically wrong. It's a scenario where the desire to avoid ridicule or mockery from our peers sometimes compels us to act in ways that compromise our values. Succumbing to such pressures, regardless of how tempting they may seem, isn't a testament to intelligence or courage. Instead, true wisdom and bravery lie in having the conviction to resist involvement in actions that go against our principles. Furthermore, it's crucial to recognize that the intimidations and manipulations used by those who coax us into wrongdoing are built on falsehoods. Their tactics, often designed to persuade us, are far from genuine. Understanding this truth empowers us to make more informed decisions and resist the allure of misguided actions. Equally important is the awareness that if we continually seek to please individuals who exert undue influence on us, coercing us into immoral deeds, they may eventually inflict harm upon us. Such individuals are not true friends. They are opportunists who exploit our vulnerabilities for their benefit. In these instances, it's essential to distinguish between genuine friendship and superficial associations. Therefore, don't harbor apprehensions about severing ties with these individuals, for they do not possess the qualities of true friends. Authentic friendships are founded on mutual respect, care, and support, with the overarching goal of nurturing each other's well-being and fostering personal growth. In light of this, it's unwise to assign undue significance to the opinions and judgments of those who would lead us astray. As you contemplate your own life's journey, take a moment to reflect upon instances where you may have found yourself compromising your values or doing something you knew was ethically questionable, all in the pursuit of gaining the approval or acceptance of others. It's an experience many of us can relate to, that internal conflict between staying true to our principles and succumbing to external pressures. Consider the emotions and thoughts that swirled within you during those moments when you made choices that didn't align with your core values. What could you have done or said differently? How might those situations have unfolded if you had stood firm in your beliefs and acted in accordance with your authentic self? Now that you know these lessons, we invite you to continue listening to other stories like this one, because every story leaves us with values that are like trophies, helping us become better people.